All right, so before we get into what's happening in DanDaDan, let me just say this anime isn't holding back. You're not just watching scenes, you're getting hit with visuals that feel alive. They've nailed this exaggerated, almost frantic animation style, and it fits so perfectly. You're watching these characters and you're thinking, man, how does this look so good? How does it look so captivating? And then we've got the color work. Haunted moments, they go dark and shadowy, almost black and white, but with this gritty vibe that pulls you in. But then when the aliens show up, everything flips to neon, bright and surreal. It's like they've created two different worlds within the same anime. It's all just, kind of just works. You get this trippy visual switch up that keeps you on your toes. I'm talking, you're always anticipating what's gonna happen next with these visuals. You're really excited, it's amazing. Not to jump right into spoilers, but Turbo Granny, for instance, she moves in this twisted, impossible way, and it kind of creeps you out. And then you're realizing, like, damn, this is all animation. It kind of brings you back that how much work they put into this animation. It looks amazing. The visuals are stunning. The animation's great. You're really going to love it. So let's go ahead and get into this recap. We're going to be recapping episodes 1 through 4, not spoiling everything and all the details, but I'm going to get you caught up to the point where you feel like you know what's happening in the anime. All right, so here's the setup. DanDaDan starts out with Momo Ayase. She's a high schooler who just got dumped by her boyfriend. That's the opening scene. She throws a roundhouse kick to his face. He deflects it, weave, kind of jumps back and, she doesn't really get him. After which she ends up in her classroom because she's a high school student. She's talking to her friends about her guy problems and, going back and forth about the boy she really wants, a kind of, personality type she's going after, all that kind of stuff. Because she's kind of feeling under the weather, she later just dips out the classroom and she starts walking the halls a little bit. As she's walking the halls, this is where she bumps into a guy named Ken Takakura, who we later know as Okarun. He's a high school guy who's absolutely convinced that aliens are real. Ghosts, though, he thinks that they're all a fantasy. And then you've got Momo Ayase. She's a total opposite. She believes ghosts are everywhere, but thinks aliens are a joke. They cross paths and have this, heated debate, and the next thing you know, they've made a bet. Okarun's out to prove that ghosts don't exist, and Momo's on a mission to prove that aliens are a hoax. Okarun heads to this abandoned tunnel, supposedly haunted with full confidence that he'll find nothing. But the second he steps in, the whole vibe changes. Shadows get darker, and this chill settles over the place, like something's awaiting for him. And that's when he meets Turbo Granny. So she's like a screwed up, contorted, grotesque, old lady-looking spirit, and she starts twisting in unsettling ways and showing her energy that's all kind of weird. It scares him out, right? She opens the scene by saying, "I'll let you suckle my tatas if you let me hold on to your banana." I'm not going to say the actual words she said because, it might throw some conflict with YouTube here, but she's talking about his banana and suckling tatas as an old, grotesque, screwed up spirit. So she puts a curse on him, steals his banana, literally steals his banana, and Okarun starts losing control of his body. So all that disbelief he had as ghosts aren't real, that's all out the window. Now he's a walking curse. Meanwhile, Momo, she's heading into the alien hotspot, probably expecting a simple UFO sighting, but instead, she walks into an actual alien encounter. And these aren't the little green men waving hello and all that. They're Serpa aliens. And they're a little bit on the, I want something from you and I'm gonna get it from you whether you want me to or not type of aliens. So they're trying to take her banana, as they describe it. And in this moment, Momo realizes she's way out of her league and whatever she thought about aliens is pretty much out the window as well. As Momo's all strapped down, about to get probed, Okarun's going through some crazy, contorted, screwed up curse that's changing him from inside out. His body's mutating, he's losing control, and now he's facing a reality that he thought was impossible. And the only way out is to find a way to break this curse. This isn't just about winning a bet anymore. He has no choice but to fight. So as this whole thing is going on, Okarun and Momo, they've been communicating on the phone, talking to each other about their experience so far. When Momo's about to get strapped down and get probed, the phone goes flying, she doesn't have it anymore, and it's over in the little side corner. This is where Okarun somehow finds a way to burst through the phone using his psychic abilities now, and he's starting to fight for Momo. As he's fighting for Momo, fighting off the Serpa aliens, this awakens something in Momo, realizing, wow, this random guy that I barely know is trying to fight for me. So she gets into her little inner deep anime self, and then this is where she busts out with her psychic abilities now that she's always had. So going through this whole battle of trying to battle the Serpa aliens, they're kind of realizing that they're stronger as a team, so they decide to stick together at least long enough to get out of this mess. And that's when things really start to go down. So they're fighting the Serpa aliens using their own devices against them. Momo's learning more about her new awakened abilities that she didn't really know she had, but knew she had. And then Okarun is pretty much out of control. He doesn't really know how to control his powers or his curse, and Momo's there to kind of be like a caretaker of his issue of not being able to control his curse. All the while they're not fighting, she has to kind of focus in on her energy in order to make his curse dormant in his body so that it doesn't take over his body. This is where we start to see patterns of the type of characters that are portrayed through Momo and Okarun. Okarun's logical and strategic, and Momo's more so instinctive and hitting hard and fast. They sync up in ways that make them a real team, but they're realizing like a lot of these encounters are starting to happen almost back to back, and this is kind of where they start seeing that there's more to this whole supernatural encounters they've been encountering. So after they beat the Serpo aliens, they head back to Momo's house, and as they're stepping onto Momo's property, this is where Okarun pretty much bursts into flames. Seeing that he bursts into flames, Momo uses her psychic abilities and throws him in a lake. He gets extinguished, and then they figure out that he burst into flames because there was this paper that was connected to the door of the entrance, and that paper pretty much holds a barrier onto the house that doesn't allow any bad spirits in. Obviously, this barrier was placed by her grandma. This is where we start to get a little bit more insight of the protective nature of her grandma, but we haven't really gotten the full scope of her grandma yet. So after they enter the house, the barrier is getting taken down by Momo. They start chopping it up a little bit, learning more about each other and their experiences throughout their life, seeing how Okarun was kind of bullied for his reclusive nature, being all into aliens and all that kind of stuff. Momo, she's always kind of had this outward, I'm a tough person exterior, but on the inside, she's very protective, as we can see how she takes care of Okarun and stuff like that. But then we jump into I lied before that. But while all this conversation is going down, a sumo alien appears out of nowhere and also wants their banana, if you get my drift.
Hey, yo, what the?
I don't know why all these supernatural spirits and aliens want bananas, but they after the good stuff. They want the goods and bananas of all the humans they attacking for some reason. So as this is happening, we're seeing a little bit more character development of Momo in this fight. She's honing in on her spiritual abilities. Same thing with Okarun. He's going ham on his spiritual abilities, realizing that they can somehow kind of use the power of Turbo Granny to kind of get the fighting spirit of Okarun up in a sense. And he's kind of becoming more of that Ken Takakuta character that Momo really likes, which makes her feel all girly and tingly, if you get my drift. So as this whole sumo alien battle is coming to a close, Momo starts taking this crazy beating because she kind of has like this cunning plan up her sleeve where she's trying to get the barrier sleeve that, you know, initially threw Okarun into a flame. She's trying to get that back up on the house where the sumo alien ends up getting burnt up. So the sumo alien's beating her to a pulp into this dang rock, which is actually the entrance of the house, but it's disguised because like another alien presence is built up around them. And then once Okarun is able to jump past the entrance of the barrier, that's when Momo's able to put the barrier sleeve back up, and then the sumo alien bursts into flames and they beat the alien. At the end of this battle, Momo's exhausted. She ends up passing out. Okarun's in disbelief. He's knowing that when she passes out, this curse is about to take him over, and then that's how the scene ends. Episode 3 comes around, and this is where we get more intellect on the granny. So the grandma isn't really a grandma. This whole time from episode 1 and 2, Momo's been painting her as like this kind of softy grandma type of approach, but we see that she's a badass grandma. She's actually like, she looks young. She has a lot of fan service kind of going on about her in the anime, and she's very like youngish in persona, but outward exterior shows I'm still technically a grandma. So the grandma kind of talks to them, talking about honing in on their skills. It kind of goes in depth with training them on how to kind of balance out Okarun's ability and Momo honing in on her ability in order to control her psychic powers a bit. But then, not to spoil episode 4 because it recently came out, so I'm gonna give you guys time to watch it, this is when they throw more dangerous scenes into the mix. Now this new thread is darker, scarier, and it feels a little bit more personal. And they're realizing that it isn't just supernatural stuff going on, they're part of something that's a little bit bigger than what they thought. At this point, it's not just a game of aliens versus ghosts anymore. Okarun and Momo are facing enemies that are almost specifically targeting them. They're realizing that they're caught in something bigger than just a random encounter, like I said. And if they're going to make it, they kind of have to dig deeper and trust each other even more and confront the things that they've been trying to avoid. It seems like every fight from here is pretty much a close call. It's like the anime is almost asking them, how far are you willing to actually survive, in a sense? And overall, this anime is really amazing. You have the perfect mix of horror and comedy and action. The visuals, like I said, are stunning and worth watching just alone. And if you're already watching this, tell me whose side you'd like to bet on in a bet, Okarun or Momo. Let me know in the comments, hit subscribe, and stick around for more deep dives. We've barely scratched the surface of this story, and trust me, it only gets crazier from here. And if you've seen the manga or read the manga, you already know it's about to go even crazier. So anyway, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.